Godzilla will always be king of the monsters, and no one can tell a Godzilla story like Toho. But you knew that legendary, didn't you? Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm Reina Creole, bringing you that spice to sci-fi and pop culture analysis. And what could be an even bigger pop culture phenomenon in the US than Godzilla? And your girl just got out of an early access screening of the new movie Godzilla Minus One. This movie is produced by Toho, not legendary, and it shows. Literally, I just got back from the theater and had to jump on, had to do this review for you guys to let you know my impressions. And even more than that, is this movie worth you plunking down your hard earned money to see it in the theater? So before I get to that, you know the deal. Please do hit that subscribe button. And when you do, make sure to hit that notification bell so you can be notified when your girl has hot, fresh pop culture content for you to enjoy. So, with that said, let me get to my thoughts about this film. Oh, I should also mention that there's going to be some mild spoilers for this. I'm not going full spoilers because, frankly, I like the movie so much that if somebody spoiled it for me, I would have to stomp them like Godzilla. So again, I went to see Godzilla Minus One at my theater. I paid money for it. I upgraded to RPX, the premium viewing experience, and I am so glad I did. With this particular film, you start out with your protagonist, who is Koichi. He is a failed kamikaze pilot, if there's anything such a thing, but apparently it is in this movie where he was just not down with doing the whole kamikaze thing. And there were some people on the island that he landed on with some gear he said was faulty, and it turns out that it was not, who pretty much sympathized with him. Well, forget some of that talk because eventually Godzilla shows up on the island. And let me tell you, this is not Legendary's Godzilla that is just, you know, pimped out, moving really fast, smiling for the camera. No, this Godzilla is the old school Toho Godzilla with some amazing CGI. Godzilla is back, raw, nasty, moving slow, but destroying everything. And he basically winds up killing a whole bunch of these mechanics on this island. And Koichi had the chance to shoot at Godzilla to attempt to kill him, but he didn't. And one of the mechanics who survived did not let him forget that. And it all goes on from there. He's got survivor's guilt, goes back home to find out that his parents are dead, but not after his neighbor finds out, says, my kids are dead, and it's because you didn't do your job as a kamikaze pilot. Damn. So the whole movie in general is about Koichi dealing with his survivor's guilt and dealing with the stigma that he feels that he didn't accomplish his job as a kamikaze pilot. He was not supposed to come back. For you kids who don't know who a kamikaze pilot was, in World War II, these dudes were the ones in the planes, slamming them into American warships in service of the emperor. They were willing to die on that mission, and they were lethal to the American forces out in the Pacific Theater during World War II. So through this whole movie, and this is one thing that Legendary didn't go with. With Legendary, it was kind of more jokey with Godzilla, again, smiling for the camera, mugging for the camera, kicking King Kong's ass. But with this one, with Toho's production, you get back to the crux of just what Godzilla is about. Godzilla really isn't about Godzilla. Godzilla is a symptom. Godzilla is a plot device. But when it comes down to it, there's a very human story. And this film does a bang up job of grabbing you emotionally and making you care about pretty much everyone that shows up on screen. And when we see Koichi's survival guilt just get harder and harder and harder, and a point where you think he's coming out of it, but it's snatched away from him and he is crying there in the black rain and screaming out, oh my God. You feel it. And dang, that's the emotion that grabs you throughout this whole film, where again, Godzilla is a symptom. Godzilla is out there threatening the people that he loves, threatening the country that he loves, threatening the country that, and this is set again, post World War II Japan, where Japan's trying to rebuild. You don't want that loss, that destruction. You care about that destruction because of all the character development in this film. It is amazing. And for those of you who are worried, like, should I be worried? There's subtitles. I'm not going to pay attention to a subtitle movie. Get over it. I don't have to tell anime fans this, but with the subtitles, the performances are so good. You see the words, but the words are just adding to it. You can tell by the emotion, by these actors. And the actor that played Koichi he was awesome. He was awesome. You don't need it to truly understand what's going on. I mean, you do with the subtitles, I don't know Japanese, but between the subtitles and just the amazing performance that's going on, trust me, you won't even care that the subtitles are up there, especially when you see Godzilla. But I'll get to that in a minute. From start to finish, this film has visible stakes in it. People dying, and the concept of what do we do now with the war over. And again, not going to get into deep spoilers, but let's just say that there's a realization that the war that they were in, that was something different that they had to fight for. But this is something that's more inspirational to fight for, and that is fight for the future. And Godzilla threatens that future. Also, the Japanese government wasn't worth damn. The Japanese government couldn't save them. The Americans were like, we got business with the Soviets, so y'all gonna have to solve this Godzilla thing on your own. But the end, it's a 1-2 punch at the end of this film. Again, I am not going to spoil that part, but let's just say one, you could kind of see it was going to happen. If you blink, you'd miss it. I caught it, and there were kind of some hints if you were paying attention. So I wasn't surprised at what happened with that. The absolute end of the film. I'm a tough chick, but I'm going to tell you right now, I had tears in my eyes. I really did, because that's how powerful of an emotional investment the director gave us in this film. Absolutely fabulous job. So let me get to Godzilla. With Legendary's version, if you saw Godzilla King of the Monsters and you saw Godzilla versus Kong, A lot of CGI going on in there, and you could see it. You could totally see it. But if you're an old school Godzilla fan like myself, you know it's kind of off. I mean, it's cool to look at, but it's kind of off. In Toho's version, you couldn't tell if it was a practical effect or if it was CGI. With the way Godzilla was moving, the way Godzilla was rendered, the way Godzilla takes his steps, the way he moves, the way he powers where he powers up. I mean, the powering up part, yeah, yeah, they kinda, they took that from Legendary, that's okay. So if you're into the Legendary films, you'll recognize that part with Godzilla powering up, but just everything, the textures, how Godzilla moves, how Godzilla reacts, how Godzilla roars, it's definitely sounds more like the old school because it's Toho's property than the one with Legendary. Damn, that's all that's all I'm gonna say. Their visual effects, and I think Square Enix was involved in it, if I saw the credits correctly. But man, if you thought Godzilla looked good in King of the Monsters and Godzilla versus Kong, you are not ready for how he looks in this film. Audience reaction. Let me tell you, we laughed in certain places. Shocked in certain places. The first power up that you see from Godzilla, man, jaws were dropping in the theater like, "Oh my god." People were flipping out. And at requisite parts, people were just clapping, and at the end, wholeheartedly clapping. And as for the theater being, full, it really wasn't super full, but the ones that were there, you could tell we were diehard Godzilla fans. And for myself personally, watching this movie, I felt like I was a kid again on my couch on a Saturday afternoon with a bowl of Lucky Charms after watching Kung Fu Theater and watching a Godzilla movie. Because in the end, Godzilla looks cool and all that, but it's that human story that keeps us glued to the couch. And that's how I felt watching this particular film. So, post-credit, mid-credit, scene, yes. No post-credit scene, but post-credit sound effect. That's all I'm gonna say. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, of course, I give this movie a 9 out of 10. On a selfish point of privilege, I would have loved to have had English dub, even if it was the bad English dubbing. um, I would love to have had that. There was one Deus Ex Machina moment in there that I really kind of feel shouldn't have been. But considering how strong the writing was in this film and the cinematography, oh my god, the cinematography is insane. Cinematography, the color palette looks beautiful, looks like a vintage film with the colors and everything. Either way, look gorgeous. Yeah, Deus Ex Machina. So that scene, I'll forgive it. You'll know it when you see it. I see why they did it, but still, it was like all right, okay, I'll allow it. So those were the only two things really that I could find fault with this film. You had character growth in this film. You had a romantic character arc in this film. You had commentary on society, commentary on how government ain't worth a damn, and commentary on what does humanity do when faced with a threat that seems indestructible. Oh, and nerds freaking rock. That's all I'm gonna say. So that's gonna do it for this review of Godzilla Minus One. I highly recommend going to see it. Definitely upgrade to IMAX or RPX because that experience of hearing Godzilla stomping, the cinematography that at times you kind of feel a little airsick and you sometimes kind of feel a little seasick, and either way, the effect is freaking worth it and the sound is great. So I highly suggest upgrading. And if you don't go see this, watch it on streaming and definitely get this sucker on physical media. This is already on my Blu-ray, my 4K Blu-ray list. So that's going to wrap it up for this review of Godzilla -1. I probably said that already, but it's late and I got a stream I'm late for, but I want to do this video for you guys. Let me know in the comments if you are going to see this film. And above that, I'll say in addition to that, let me know which Godzilla incarnation you are a fan of. Is it the Legendary Studios one where they borrow the Toho license? Or are you an old school from back in the day, ride or die Toho Godzilla fan? And most importantly, are you going to see this film? If you have seen the film, let me know what you think. Am I wrong? Did I score it too high? I'd like to know. So folks, if you got some value out of this video, please do hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel. And I will see you next time. Bye.